Welcome to the Soul Different podcast, where two generations of women come together to talk all things parenting, health, business, and overcoming life's challenges. I'm Devon. I'm here with my amazing daughter, Ziana Monet, and we're on a mission to break barriers, rebuild the family unit as the cornerstone of success, and elevate our culture by sharing our stories and strategies for thriving together. Whether you're a mother, daughter, or both, we're here to inspire and empower you to nurture your health, grow your business, and build a legacy that moves us all forward. Let's dive into the conversation.
Hey.
It's Friday somewhere.
No, it's not. Your days is all mixed up today, huh? It's okay. Well deserved, well earned.
It's a day.
But we are here back with another episode of the Soul Different podcast.
You
where we
give it the
where we
soul.
Don't just soul different, but we're soul different.
Soul. Like you got to give it the.
That could be your part.
Okay.
Because I have my moniker on how the play of words. So
okay.
you know, I know you like the soul train idea, but you got it. You got that. But here we are back with another episode. Excited to be here. I feel like it's been a couple weeks, but
it has.
We're
Lots
getting things
on.
in order on the outside of the studio here. We do have other things we're building, I should say. So,
yes.
But to make time to be here is important to me, and I would hope so for you too.
As so. Yeah.
Okay.
Definitely.
All right, you ready to get started? We're gonna get started with our affirmation. So today's conversation is going to be built around some resiliency and some overcoming some adversity, which these first few episodes are definitely just sharing that part of our story on how we've just overcome different obstacles and experiences, I should say. I rather call them experiences than obstacles.
Yes.
Because things don't happen to us, they happen for us. So today's affirmation is I am resilient. So we'll say it together. I am resilient. You are resilient. We are resilient.
An example of being resilient.
Amen.
There are many.
There are. Yeah. There are many, but we are one, like you said, one of many, two of many,
yes.
many. Family members, friends, strangers, absolutely. Everybody, I believe, has a story that they can share about their life where they've presented some resiliency.
Yes.
But today's topic, I guess, is going to kind of be a little bit of how I've overcome some adversity and have had some experiences. I know that there's a lot of people close to us, not so close to us, that want to know what happened to my face. So I do kind of, I feel ready to share that story.
That's great. Awesome.
My shirt here says, for those that are listening, you can't see it, but it says walking testimony. And I do just want to reiterate, I'm one of many that have a walking testimony, but my story is, my story and how I've overcome these different moments of experiences that could have really put me in some dark places, and I've kind of found so many ways to battle through it.
Yes.
So I know we've touched on some things. We've touched on the ACLs and the accident, but I can say, the ACLs led kind of up to the accident, but my accident was actually in between the ACLs. So I tore my first ACL, which I've shared. I play flag football. I'm officially retired. I've been retired for some time now.
Sad face.
Yeah.
It's best time of our lives.
Yeah, I had a really good time. I really truly loved it. And I love where flag football is going now for women.
Yes.
And I think about, the organization. Shout out to Pink Sunday. Back home in Cambridge. Definitely a huge part of my journey in becoming the woman that I am. Just being a part of a team as a woman was just such a good time, and I built relationships with women who I'm still friends with till this day.
I would say so.
That I'm the godmother to one of them and one of their sons, my really, really good friend.
Yes.
So I guess I could kind of get into that story. The first ACL, a bunch of us, this was right after COVID had happened. So our league wasn't able to continue just due to the restrictions and, everything that was going on at the time. So a bunch of us, there was already a team that was going up to, where were we? New Hampshire, I think it was. So yes, I was driving to New Hampshire every Sunday morning to play flag football. And I decided to join a team up there that were a group of women and coaches that were from our league that were like, we want to play, so we're going to go join this league because it's still going on. And that was a rough season because we were getting our butts whooped every Sunday. I think we won one game and we were like, this is crazy. Like this, I wasn't used to that coming from a very, having winning seasons year and year and year after year. So that was tough. But I want to say, I think it was the last game of the season. I'm pretty sure it was. You probably don't remember, but I'm pretty sure it was the very last.
I remember it being, like a last play.
Yeah, and that's why
I can't remember.
I think
but I remember
I'm pretty
it was
sure
like the last play.
It was the last game.
Yeah,
last 20 seconds of the game.
Yes,
love my coaches, but I probably should not have been in the game because we were losing so bad anyway. I should have been on the sideline. But to kind of make somewhat of a long story short, but it's still a long journey. If you know anything about tearing an ACL, I mean, we see it with NFL players, WNBA players, college players. We see it with NBA. I think I said NBA already, but it's not an easy injury to recover from. And you see these people who put millions and millions of dollars into their bodies struggle to come back from it. So
but we've even heard of people that were just gardening or just taking a step down the step,
correct,
and tear an ACL.
Yeah, it can happen to the average person.
Yeah, the more you hear it mostly in sports.
Right, in sports,
but yeah,
for sure. So last play of the game.
Last play.
I was playing safety. I either play safety or corner. Those are my specialties. More so corner. I really like to play corner. But I think I was playing safety in this particular play, and the girl was flying at me, and I planted my foot my left foot, because that was the first one. My left foot, I planted it, and I mean, some would say maybe I got juked. I don't really remember that happening, but I just remember planting my foot and going to grab the girl's flag, and then just falling over, like literally just grabbing my knee and just falling, like, oh, something's not right.
Yes.
And I got up and I'm stepping, I'm trying to walk, and I'm just like, it feels empty. Something's not right. I don't know. Something's just not right. But playing, obviously, over the years, I've seen many other girls do it as well. Right. Yeah, like every summer, unfortunately, somebody was going down with, the ACL tear. But it was like I had been playing at this point for like 7 years, 8 years. So I was just like, this can't be happening. So
it happened, and then like nothing happened because you didn't go to the hospital. We went out to eat. That's how I remember not even thinking anything serious. It was just, I don't even think it was a whole lot of swelling, but I just remember you appearing to be fine, like not appearing to be in any pain.
Yeah, no.
Until like,
I think it was that night.
then yeah,
like overnight.
Yeah,
I was like,
yeah,
something's not right. And again, thank God just for building relationships.
Yeah.
I had a teammate who actually worked for the doctor that
surgeon,
took care of me.
orthopedic
Yeah, the
surgeon.
orthopedic surgeon who took care of me. So she was able to give me an appointment, like literally the next day. I went for my MRI, and lo and behold, the ACL was torn. So, and I was turning 30
And
too.
it's weird because they can feel.
Yeah, they do certain exercises where with the knee, and they can
like feel within the,
like,
but the second one, which you're going to share soon, but there was a therapist that was at the game.
Yeah.
Because I remember her coming over to me, and she literally whispered like in my ear, she's like, I don't feel it.
Yeah.
When I
there's a little
her,
there's a little movement that they can do.
Yeah.
Like it's either you either pull the leg forward or something, or it's something. I do remember.
Right.
Because I remember sitting there for the second one, and I remember just looking at everybody like, it's torn. I'm like, I know it. And then everybody's like, no, Z, no, don't say that. Please don't say that.
Well, because that one you got hit.
Yes.
It wasn't
that was a total
plant your feet. It was more or less like.
Yeah, that one was pretty bad. The second one was I can say it was way worse than the first one.
Because I wouldn't say hit, but she was pushed into you. Yeah. But
it was
more of a body, like a body contact.
But I went out like, I'm happy the way I went out.
Yeah.
That was, I know that sounds crazy, but
and that was like
true.
That was like the first 20 seconds of the first one was like the last 20 seconds, and I think that one was like
pretty early on in the game.
I remember just getting
you
there.
Had just
like just I hadn't even sat. I don't even think I sat down, and it was I turned around. Everyone was screaming because you got the interception.
Yeah,
and we could just see you running, into the end zone, and then it happened. Yeah. So
I know, and it's just
we
to
can
laugh about it now.
Yeah.
Like we talk about just celebratory. It didn't happen to me. It happened for me for sure.
Yeah.
Because I remember, there was things I was after the second one. I can get a little candid. I remember. I'm like so invested in this flag football, just so invested in it, and kind of being an adult. Other things were
the board, right? And you were
really invested in it. Yeah. And I'll never forget after, I think when I had the second time, I went to my business bank account, and I remember like being like, okay. What have I been doing? Something is not right. I know the money I've been bringing in, but what is the money going out? Like, I remember just being like, okay, God, there's other things I need to be focused on. And I remember telling my teammates that because they just felt so bad. And I just was like, right now I have other things I need to be focused on and invested in. And I remember like that whole month. At the time I was working for Osiris, so I'm calling them like I need more clients. I just remember like the term like running it up. Just being like, okay, no, there's no way I've been not neglecting. And I think not to say if I was still playing at the time, it happened at like a perfect time that I could like get a hold of something that was important to me. Building at the time like the things I was trying to do with being paid as a independent contractor.
Right.
I was like, okay, I can focus on this now because I'm not so invested in this football. And I had joined a new team, remember, at that time. So it was like different dynamics and just, it was a lot at the time. Just, again, being a woman, you're like, we're grown, we're adults. So, we should.
A lot of conversations were happening around.
All the time. All the time. It was just always something.
Yeah.
So I think.
Well, it had become your life. I mean, I'm not going to say life as in you didn't have any other things.
It was like my hobby. It was my thing.
It was a hobby that wasn't paying.
Yeah, it was my thing. Like when you find something you do just for yourself, when enjoying it.
And we have to remember was it a league, so it was not so much as breast cancer, but I was trying to remember. I just had a blank moment. But was it because there was a great mission behind, you weren't just enjoying football? It was
the league,
flag football.
Yeah, the league started, just to overall support women's health. But breast cancer, was the premise. The teams were named, like my team was called Booby Brigade.
Yes,
shout out to the Booby Brigade.
Yes.
So every team had some sort of name dedicated to the woman's body part, that breast cancer affected. So it did have a huge meaning, and because I had started in the league so early on, I used to remind people of that, like, y'all gotta remember what this is about and why it started. So that was also a huge passion of mine, and I was always the one to remind everybody, like, this is for the women. So I think
and you had started writing names of, we had family members, cleats on
put their name,
memory of
what you would do when you play a sport. You put people's names on on your cleats. But I do truly believe that I was removed at that time to focus on some other things. And granted, that second time, like I said, was also after the accident, but I'm going to go back to the first ACL tear. So we found out that it was torn. After, and I was able to find out quick, which was a blessing, because some people have to wait weeks or to get an appointment to get their MRI, but I was able to find out very quickly. I was able to get into physical therapy very quickly, and I scheduled my surgery for I think I had surgery 2 weeks after my 30th birthday. I remember my ACL was torn on my 30th birthday, which was this really stinks. But I had surgery, and I think for the first 2 nights I regretted it, because I remember my dad being like, "You and Grandpa, you don't need, once they open you up, there's no turning back. You don't need to have no surgery." They both were very much like, "I don't know why you're doing this." And in my mind, I'm like, "I want to play again." I want to have my ACLs, as well as, my doctor being like, "You can be without an ACL, but you're young still. You're active. I'm just worried about the long haul."
You were really concerned about that.
Needing a knee replacement when I'm 70. I don't want to run into those types of complications. So I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna do it.
You did,
and went full force into rehabbing and, physical therapy 2-3 times a week. And then
you had to rehab before,
yes, because you have to get your mobility back, because essentially your knee is like this, but they want you to be back to normal. They want you to walk into your surgery without any limps or anything. That's why I'm kind of shocked that professional athletes usually go right away and get theirs, but I'm sure there's,
And if you think about how much stronger they probably are.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a reason. But I went full force into rehabbing. I'm like, okay, I'm going to just take this like a champ. And that physical therapy was seriously no joke.
Yeah, I remember. Wow.
Just in 30 minutes of it is just oh my gosh. And I remember listening to,
and her bedroom was upstairs.
Oh my goodness.
I had to.
One night, do you remember the night you had to come help me use the bathroom? And then you almost passed out. You're like, "Oh, Ziana, oh my God." I'm like, "Ma, I'm standing here." I'm like, "I need help."
Because you used to wake me up out of a really deep sleep, or it was just not.
You literally sat on the bed, and I'm standing there in pain, hello. And you're like, "Oh, I need to lay down."
Because I think I just I got up too fast, or I probably didn't eat the night
she
before.
Literally laid
it
down
was all kind of.
I'm standing there looking at her
I was the nurse. I was the mom. I was the washer
But,
upper. We didn't have
yeah, it was definitely
at home care.
yeah, it was definitely getting up and down the
But
stairs
I do
and
it again in a heartbeat.
yeah,
It was tough.
yeah,
It was tough.
yeah.
But
But
we did it.
we definitely got through it in good timing.
Yes.
Because I did decide, like, I'm gonna I believe I took a full year off. So in between the two ACLs, I was in a motor vehicle, I guess you can call it. We call them slingshots. Some people call them T-Rexes, where it's open at the top, the two wheels in the front, and why are you laughing? We shouldn't laugh. I guess it could be a nervous laugh a little bit, but to again, when you say laugh, to keep from crying, because there was definitely lots and lots of crying. At the time, I got invited somewhere that I essentially know I should not have been there. That's like the real vulnerable part of the situation. Like, I go back to that. Like, even though, the coast was clear as far as my relationship with that person at the time, and we had just started back even talking, due to the nonprofit and just different layers of things, being from the same community, same friends. I was just kind of like, okay, I'm gonna go. And I can say, like, any bad experience I've had, or not so good experience I've had, has been because I'm not using my discernment. And that's something I've, over like the last year or two, like, I've really prayed to God, like, to help me with my discernment, just knowing when to leave or knowing when to not show up. Like, Ziana, you don't have to be everywhere. You don't have to be a part of everything.
Right.
Like, it's okay.
Right.
And like I said, every situation or experience that I've had where I haven't been my best self, I know I haven't been my best self, has been because I should have left. It's like, you don't have to you don't have to be the last one at the function every time. You really don't. Like, you can come, say hello, make your rounds, sing happy birthday or whatever, and then just gracefully, peacefully leave out, right? And like I said, I can truly be completely vulnerable in saying that. It's something I've had to, work on and look back. Like, now that I think about it, every situation that I have been in that I know wasn't good or I wasn't my best self, I had, the voice tell me it's time to go, or, the voice tell me maybe you shouldn't go, or, just maybe you shouldn't have one more drink, like that kind of thing. So that particular night was very much that. But again, I was with all my friends from high school, and we was just really having a really good time. And I made the decision to get into this vehicle, and we went for a ride, and the ride turned ugly, let's just say, where we got to a point where we just weren't being safe as adults. You think about it afterwards. And I realize that now, I can take full accountability for myself and my actions, and just knowing, again, it wasn't smart. It wasn't the best decision I've made in life, right? But it happened. And we got to a point where we took off, and the slingshot tipped sideways, and I was on the side that it tipped, and I didn't have my seatbelt on. Again, we weren't in our complete right minds, just, again, as adults, we shouldn't have. If we were going to go for a cruise, it should have been a cruise, right. But again, those vehicles are meant for fast driving, right? Speed. So
the need for speed,
right? So we get to that point where, and I believe that when it first tipped sideways, that I was initially knocked unconscious, because it was like I remember taking off, and then I remember coming to and like literally feeling my body ride the concrete. And that's when I was like, am I in a dream? Like, I really was thinking, like, this isn't real.
Right.
This is not a dream. Like, this is actually happening. But the initial shock, of course, came over my body, and I can't see my face, or I can see, you know, my hands, you know, again, for the listeners, you guys can't see, but hopefully you're tuning in on YouTube as well. But yeah, I have a scar right here. So this initial scar, you kind of can't really see it. My face has healed up lovely thanks to my mother's fast, how can I say it? Like, you're just being on top of what needed to be done. And this initial scar is about right here. I believe you can kind of see it, that when I hit my head there, that's when I was knocked unconscious and then came to. And I couldn't see my face, but the person I was driving could see my face. And of course, now this is like the second layer of all the emotions, and me thinking and looking at, you know, this person and being like, I knew I shouldn't have been here. This is the first thing I said. I was like, this is not right. I just knew I should not have been here. I shouldn't have been close to you. I shouldn't have been close to anybody else. And it was just bad. But at that moment, you know, I would say we both have reputations, you know, in the city to somewhat withhold, or, you know, people just know us both for just doing a lot of positive things. So in that moment, instead of going to the hospital, which is where we should have went, because my face was wide open, we got back in the vehicle. I know, it sounds crazy, right? But we did. We got back in it and drove back to where the party was. And at that moment, everybody at the party was made aware of what had happened, and they're coming, everybody's like rushing out, and I'm just livid at this point. I'm just cussing out everybody, and I'm like, take me home. And they're looking at me, and I'm looking at them, and I'm like, yeah, I'm ready, like, I'm fine, I'm just gonna go home. And everybody's like, Z, like, your face. And I'm like, what about it? Like, you know, I'm ready to go. Like, I'll be fine. I can, you know, patch up at home. But eventually I, you know, gave in and got in my car, and a friend of mine drove me to the hospital. And you know, there's other parties involved in this, but, you know, it's their story to share, and I hope that one day maybe we can, you know, share it together. But at that point, going to the hospital is when I realized that I was not okay. That's when, like, everything just started burning, and just, you know, I'm looking at my hands. Like, I'm literally like looking at my hands, and I'm like, I'm telling the driver, you know, excuse my French, but I was like, I'm effed up. Drive faster. I'm like, run every single one of these lights. Like, we have to get to the hospital. And at this point, again, I still haven't seen my face. But I remember one of the girls who actually was at the party I played flag football with in the same league. And I remember her looking at me and being like, Z, your eye, like, you have to go, please, like, your eye. And I'm just like, what? You know, again, I can't imagine the initial, like, impact, what everything looked like at that time. So I was like, all right. Once she said that, that's when I was like, okay. That's when I decided to go, and we get to the hospital. And of course, just due to the injury, like, they took us right to the back. And at that point, I'm like laying there, I'm like cussing the nurse out. It's funny because I remember the guy nurse, like, me and him were just going at it, and I remember he had told you, like, she's a tough cookie or something he had said. But they wanted to fly me to Boston. Yeah, they wanted one. I don't know if they would have. I don't think they would have put me in a helicopter. Probably an ambulance.
Yeah.
And I was just like, nope, stitch me up. So I did end up having to get stitches on that initial impact that I spoke about, where I do think I was knocked unconscious. And then I got stitches like right above my eyelid, which you can still kind of see.
Yeah.
And then this initial scar right here, there was nothing they could do, because it was just like a chunk of my skin was missing. So they couldn't even like stitch it.
Well, your tissue.
Yeah. So, I'm there in the hospital, and then, again, God just works in mysterious ways, as far as, I have this memory with my grandmother who is no longer with us, where my phone had died or something. So they had put it on the charger, and they kept asking me, like, who can we call? We have to call somebody for you. And this is terrible, because I didn't have your phone number memorized. I didn't have my father's phone number memorized. And this is bad, guys. We got to get back to trying to memorize phone numbers. So the only phone number that I have memorized outside of our house number was my grandmother's house number. 617-442-4960. And
50.
That's what I said.
4950. Oh, you said 6.
Oh,
yeah.
50.
I still remember it.
Yeah. So that's the only number I could remember. And I said, call my grandmother.
Yeah.
And I know she'll answer the phone.
Right.
And then I said, is there anybody here that speaks Spanish? Because, that will help speed this process up. But at that point, I don't know after that what happened. I don't know if she called my dad or called you, or I think my phone had charged by that point, and they had brought it to me. And that's when I was able to get you on the phone. And I was just like, you just got to get here. Hurry up. Come get to the hospital. And then you call my dad. But it's funny, because my grandmother, like, after we, talked about it, she was like, I thought it was a scam. Yeah. She's like, I kept saying, let me talk to my granddaughter. Let me talk to my granddaughter. So, but she did. She answered that phone, and she knew, she was up to par with what was happening. And, but yeah, her phone number was the only phone number I had memorized. So that's the only person I could think of to call. But in the midst of it, I think that's what had happened, was my phone eventually charged, and I was able to get you on the phone, and you were able to.
The nurse, you didn't call, but the nurse
did.
Okay. Yeah, she was.
Yeah, I don't remember like those specifics, but I do remember you were able to get there. I know you were with a family friend who was able to bring you. Excuse me. And from there, it was just another healing journey, right? Yeah. And going to see a plastic surgeon, and they wanted to, reopen my face and redo all of these stitches and different things, and skin grafts. And well, they were laser. They wanted to do laser,
and they were treating you as a burn patient.
Because it was pretty bad. So like my hands, and then my chest, I didn't even speak about that. Like from my shoulder all the way down past my breast, like skin just ripped completely off. And it was definitely painful, right? But just being who we are, it was always okay. What what is behind this? What is the true lesson behind this? And it's been now 4? I think it's going on 4 years. Just about. I think it happened in 2021, so it's going on about 4 years. Where, some days I'm like, I don't realize how much it affected me, but it's like every day, obviously, I look in the mirror, I see the scar, but again, it's a reminder of that discernment that I'm asking for, or those moments where you have to know how to walk away from things, because if you don't, you end up in a situation that you can't come back from. And in that instance, I couldn't come back from that. Like in that moment, I'm looking at everything, and I'm just like, this isn't happening. this is not real.
Yeah.
This is not happening.
And that's what you would say a lot. Well, when you did speak, because for at least a day or two, you had just no words.
Yeah.
But when the words would come out, they would sound like that.
Yeah.
Like, I don't deserve this.
Yeah.
You know, I'm a good person.
Yeah.
And so just
A little teary-eyed.
yeah, just talking you through that was as a mother.
Yeah.
It's, and I'm sure there are some mothers who are listening who have had to be in those moments.
Yeah.
And but you were really the troop. You were the trooper. You
Yeah.
really were. And I'm not sure when it clicked for you that it was like that this has happened to me. And I remember the first time you did look at your face.
Oh yeah.
In the
Which
plastic
wasn't
surgeon's
like
office.
no, I didn't look at my face for like a month.
Yeah, it had been some time, but I just remember when you did, it was, you had said, because we had taken pictures
Yeah.
from day one, and I remember you saying out loud, just like, I can't believe that's what you all were looking at.
Yeah. Oh, so
Yeah.
you're saying when I seen the pictures for the first time? Because I think
I don't remember if it was a picture or an actual, when you were, I remember you standing in the doctor's office and there was a mirror.
oh yeah,
But by that point,
it was some
you
time
had
after.
done, I mean, you were healing so fast.
Yeah.
And we were really grateful for getting introduced to products that could help your skin repair.
the stem cell
Yeah.
repair. And
Yeah, with,
that for sure.
yeah.
I would say kick-started my
Yeah.
healing
Yeah, because you were
process.
still young.
Yeah.
And now that we know what happens
that
with
means,
ourselves, but
right.
you definitely had some assistance with the body's natural ability
For sure.
to
Yeah, I
to
didn't.
get
I want to
back
say I
to
didn't look at
normal.
my face for like a good 30 days.
Yeah, it was
like
it
because
was
I
definitely
even when
some
I was
time.
like brushing my teeth, I would brush my teeth with my eyes closed.
With your eyes closed,
because I was
yeah.
I just wasn't ready for what
Yeah.
what I was gonna see.
Right. Yeah, because that year you had just done your 30 year. You had turned 30 in January, so
Yep.
you had just did your photo
shoot.
And
Yeah,
so it was all
so it was very
the
much
bells and
like
the kind of
this isn't happening.
Yeah.
And like it just to piggyback off what you said, like that was my first realization when I saw my face was like, I can't believe you guys had to see me like that,
Yeah.
because really, my goal in life is to always make my parents proud. Like every day I'm like, no, I'm making,
Yeah.
Roselia and Annette proud,
Yeah.
the proudest parents on this
and you
earth.
have, and you
So,
definitely have.
to see him emotional, and I was just like, okay, this has to be bad, to
Yeah.
see him in that state.
Well, he couldn't wait to see it because the first appointment we went to, the doctor, the nurse, I'm not sure what the issue was, but if you remember, she
When
was
she was
having a
trying to
hard time to cut because you were covered in gauze. Like we could
Yes.
only see your eyes, and they were concerned about the risk of infection.
Yeah.
So you had to be completely covered, and bandages changed a lot
Yeah.
during those first like 48 hours before we went to that first appointment. But the nurse was struggling with getting your gauze off, and your dad was he just wanted to see you because he couldn't, because you were covered. And I just remember him taking the scissors, and he literally, I think we might have been at that appointment for like 6 hours, where he literally just cut like slowly, just every piece of gauze.
Yeah.
And when he finally could see what was underneath, it was
because I think by the time he got to the hospital that night, I
were
was
covered.
already covered
Yeah.
up.
Yeah.
So yeah, he to see him in that state,
Yeah.
my little brother, like just to think of like
Yeah.
you guys
Yeah.
was really what, like, I was like, oh my gosh, I can't imagine, because again, I just think about the initial, when we were first driving, we were going so fast down a street that had cars on both sides.
Oh.
So I just, again, just replaying it, I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm just so, even though I'm in this state, I'm so thankful.
Yeah.
Because if this thing tipped while we were on the street with cars, and instead of my head hitting the concrete, I could have hit the back of a car, we would have been having a different conversation,
absolutely.
you know, or I wouldn't not have been having a conversation, you know, and to think of that alone, even just till this day, it still shakes me up a little bit. Like, there's no way that this really happened. But talk about, I feel like I've always, like, I talked about purpose, I think, on the last episode. I have just truly always walked in my purpose. So I'm like, okay, if God hasn't planted the seed that I'm here for a reason before, he definitely did it now. You know, like, there's no way, because if it was, you know, they say when it's your time, you know, it's scary to think about, right? But it's true, you know, like that moment was to happen for me, you know, and not to me. And you know, but I do have to have the daily reminder, you know, reminders, I should say, just looking at my hands. But you know, I call them, you know, I earned my tiger stripes, you know, and the scar kind of adds a little razzle dazzle, you know. I got a story to tell, you know.
Most of the time when you've been a warrior through it, but at the same time, the growth, I believe, like being a witness to, just even when you did realize that you were healing, there wasn't much time. Like I remember you coming down the stairs, like, I'm going to football. Like you were coaching the younger girls for flag football.
Well, it was a league, flag football league for kids. And I would coach, I would coach it. It was actually a friend of mine from college. It was his organization. And it's funny you say that too, because I remember he sent me a message recently, but like when I had first showed a picture of myself, like I think I posted on my Instagram story, maybe like around my birthday, like, you know, I'm just thankful, you know, like, and he sent me a message like, this is what happened to you, like, and you were still at the field with the kids. And I remember I was like covered up. I had like, I didn't, you know, I had a mask on, and I would wear like a heavy, you know, long sleeve hoodie, and you know, I was out there with those kids, like still coaching them up. So and I remember him being like, did that happen? But and I remember Jasmine texting me, my cousin, my right hand man. She was like, I'm just so proud of you, because I think she might have called you to check on me or something, and you was like, Ziana is at coaching with her kids. And that was probably, she's at practice, maybe like 2.5 weeks, more than 3. It was maybe, I would say 3 max. That I was like, oh no, I'm up, I'm getting up, I'm going, and this is I was committed to that. I committed to it, and I was going to show up and you know, continue the job that I told, you know, a friend of mine that I was gonna do for him, you know. So that I do remember those moments, or like the moment that I finally was able to like write, because my hands, it's funny because I like wear these rings. Remember, they were stuck because my hands were swollen, like we couldn't get the rings off. So I remember the first moment that I was able, because I had to do my work notes and stuff, and I was like, oh my God.
And that was even something we recognized, were that when we knew what the doctors were saying as far as the amount of healing that happened, because you went from being able to move your hands, like, you know, without any pain, or, you know, when the nurse would come, getting in the shower with you, because when the water would hit, how painful it was. And then I remember the day when it was literally like, I remember it being a Monday when I had gone to the store, because I was like getting all the stuff that we needed, and I'd only be out for a few hours. And I called the nurse, and nurse said, I'm on my way. And I called you to let you know that the nurse was on the way. And you were like, you know what, Ma, I think I can do it on my own. And I remember saying, like, what? Like, there's no, because I just remember just days before when the water would hit you,
Yeah.
you would like almost fall to your knees.
Oh yeah.
And because you were open,
Yeah.
that's the part
Yeah, and
your
the
body
gauze,
literally
they
was
would
open,
get stuck.
Yeah, because
And that was like
yeah,
that was the worst part for sure, is when, we had to take them off.
take them off.
Because
Yeah,
it was just like grueling
Yeah.
pain. Like, oh my God.
yeah,
This
yeah.
is just not happening. This is not happening. This is
To
not
you.
real. This is not real.
Yeah, not happening.
This is
to
a
you.
movie.
But yeah, it was one of those moments where time stands still.
Yeah.
It literally, like, time was frozen, for, for all of it, but you weren't showing any fear once you realized what it was. Like,
Yeah.
it was just, even for you to get in the car, to get in a car again. I can remember just watching you drive out the driveway. Like,
Yeah.
it wasn't that you were going to the practice. It was like, oh my gosh, she has to like get in her car
Yeah.
and drive.
Yeah.
And, we haven't touched on it, but it was traumatic for
Yeah,
everybody,
for sure.
to know
sure.
that, but that God had kept you, was we really had to get on the side of understanding that part too,
Yeah.
that like he saved her life for a reason.
Yes.
And it could have been a lot worse.
It could have.
Could have been a lot worse.
It could have. And I think that moment, once I did realize that, and
Yeah.
I feel like I've always been very much,
Yeah.
that's always been my perspective on life. Like,
Yeah.
there's always a solution to a problem. There's
Yeah.
it keeps me going. Like, I don't stay in a place for too long, especially not mentally. I give myself the time. Like, okay,
Yeah.
I'll give myself a week if I need to.
Yeah.
To not do anything, to
Right.
just be still. And then it's like, all right, it's
And
time
as your
to get
mom,
to
it was a point of, which was interesting because that I can think about it now. I just remember thinking with every situation, like, is this going to be the one to break her?
Yeah.
Because it was not only that, but it was, losing Henry, your best friend, to leukemia. I would go back to moments when, as your mom, I'm like, okay, this is another thing.
Yeah.
And is this going to be the thing that where I have to now submit to whatever is going to come out of however we're going to get through this?
Right.
Because now at this point where, there's only one aunt down the street.
Right.
Or, or
Right.
at the time it might have been two. I don't know if Auntie Elnora she was still with us then. No.
Auntie Shay.
Auntie Shay,
Yeah.
but no one was down the street other than
Yeah.
One Auntie
One
B.
aunt,
But it was because where I was looking for was like when I fall, like because everybody around me was falling.
Yeah.
They were just like, they would be strong in front of you, but then
Right.
as soon as they'd walk out of your room, it was like,
Yeah.
which wasn't a long period, because
Right.
literally you were 2 weeks later, you were up
Yeah, bounce back.
and bounce back.
Yeah.
And so that was just another one of those moments of you showing how resilient you were.
Mm-hmm.
But as your mom, I would have to pray and then wait,
Yeah.
because it was like, is this going to be, yes, she's come through it all.
Right.
Like, she's come through. I'm not worried. But it was always a moment is this going to be the one thing, even after the ACLs, because it was like the one thing that she loves.
Right.
Has now once again, like, does this all bring back, where they say rip the Band-Aid off
Yeah.
of, of of things that I know you were resilient through, but
Right.
now it's ripped off again.
Right.
And, I give all the credit to just the village, because, once you're built, it's like when you see people fall, but it's that when they succumb to whatever,
Yeah.
right? The
Yeah.
thing that breaks you or makes you,
Right.
however you want to
Well, they
look
say
at
the
it.
straw that
But
broke the camel's back,
The
you
straw
know?
that broke the camel's
in
back.
in that situation, very
Yeah.
much just because of the dynamics,
Yeah.
the relationship, the
Right. Yeah.
the
Yeah.
years of
Yeah.
just all of that,
Yeah.
which most people know what I'm talking about, but
Yeah.
that could have very much been like, okay,
Yeah.
like, I have to now walk around with the scar on my
Yeah.
face, after
Yeah.
all these years,
Yeah.
so that for sure could have been it. But
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think, again, just we talked about it, I think, in our very first episode, just the support system
Yeah.
and the, nobody judging me through it, my
Right.
friends, my best
Yeah.
friends that were showing up at the door, like,
Yeah.
Taryn came and helped me write, like, just those moments of
Yeah.
those people helped me get through it and still do
The
till this
village.
day,
Yeah.
so
The village.
there's nothing I've ever gone through alone. I can
Yeah.
definitely say that.
Yeah.
From best friends to accidents to
Right. Right.
any of it,
Right.
I haven't gone through not one moment of life
Right.
alone. I've
Yeah.
never felt alone.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that for
And
sure
that's
keeps me
God.
going too.
That's him showing up through people,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
He'll use a mustard seed to build your faith, but
Absolutely.
it's a constant reminder of that
Mm-hmm.
as things are, even listening to a story today about what's happening for your little brother. I still had a moment where I was like, this is still going back to, because I wouldn't be marketing with this company if it wasn't for the
that,
first
yeah.
company.
And if it
And
wasn't
those
for
blessings are still, God is still
yeah,
rolling out
yeah,
the
from that
blessings
moment.
from that one decision,
Yeah. Yeah.
of it's just happening
Yeah.
because, being resilient is always wonderful,
Right.
but it's when you know who you are, like when you've been built for something,
Yeah.
from baby.
Mm-hmm.
I think about you being in my womb when I was literally bringing your dad home and we were in a car accident. I was in a car accident after coming from Boston on the
Mm-hmm.
highway. And I remember laying in, I'm not sure what they were doing to me, but I remember just tears falling down my eyes because Nana didn't know that I was
Yeah.
pregnant.
Yeah. Yes. Shared
And
that. You
yeah,
shared that. So.
we had a cookout that day for, my choir. The choir, we had invited the
Mm-hmm.
church to the house and, had a celebration, and your dad was there.
Mm-hmm.
So I called to borrow Auntie Scooter's car
Mm-hmm.
to drive him home. And I was on the way home when the accident happened. And I just remember in the back of my mind, like, there's no way that you were protected.
Mm-hmm.
The car was literally a ball of metal. And I remember Grandpa going to see the car, and the guy said the person who was in here is alive.
Wow.
And
Again, I tell you, every time you tell this story, you give a
yeah,
new
yeah, I remember
piece of it.
him saying that to me, that he went to take pictures of the car, and he said the guy was like, the person inside of this car is you're saying they're alive, they lived through it. And he said, yeah. And I think about what you were saying about being knocked unconscious, and I know that I was knocked unconscious from the first impact, and I think that's what saved me
Mm-hmm.
is my body fell into the seat.
Mm-hmm.
So as the cars were hitting me, because the car was literally hit, spun, hit again, because cars are driving down the highway, so you're spinning. The car was spinning, boom, one side, spun again, head on. But from the first impact, because I don't remember it, I
Right.
remember sitting still because there was another accident, and I just was sitting still, like oh my gosh, it's an accident.
Right.
And we lived in Lowell at the time, so I believe that's, outside of God Himself, that's what saved my life,
Yeah.
because I fell and I wasn't sitting straight up
Right.
as everything was happening.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's how you were protected, because
Yeah.
I literally was slumped over in the seat. And so to know, I remember that when the nurse, whoever, when I whispered the words, like, I was like, I'm pregnant. And I don't know if Nana was like sitting there, or I believe she might have been sitting in the chair. but they rushed and went and got all the equipment to hear the heartbeat. And that was the first time that I heard your heartbeat, was that
Sheesh.
night.
Sheesh.
Yep.
Yeah. So again, just
So
talk about purpose,
it
or
was-
just
yeah.
the light we talk about.
Yeah.
Just, God being
Yeah.
like, all right,
Right.
like I'm calling for more out
Yeah.
of you, like you
Raise up.
there's more.
This higher.
I need you
Yeah.
to do a little bit more.
Yeah.
And that's like what,
Yeah.
that's what I walk in after those moments. And I'm sure,
Absolutely.
for you, those moments you've taken out of it, the same thing.
Yeah.
It's just like, I just say, we just, when you don't look like what you've been through, right? Just again, no different than a
Wow.
lot of mothers and daughters, a lot of
Absolutely.
families, a lot of
Every day.
dynamics, right? But to
Every
just
day.
still smile,
Right.
and still, see people and still want to
Yeah.
be around people and still build
Yeah.
new relationships and new environment, and just still take on every day like it's a new day.
Right.
I think it's a blessing to be able to have that perspective, because a lot of people don't, a lot of people don't.
And for, if you don't take the time to pause and recognize
Be still.
whatever, yeah, be still and know. I think coming to that conclusion is when you can say to yourself, it's been rough, but
Yeah.
I've been built for this.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Yeah,
all the
my
things.
dad always says I'm built for tough.
Yeah.
I remember he found a shirt, a sweatshirt in Marshalls or something. He was so happy to give it to me, because he always tells me that you're built for tough.
Wow.
You know.
Who's that?
My father.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, wow.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
all in a
It's in the
positive
DNA.
way. Yeah. And,
But-
I'm still able to
Yeah.
be graceful, working on my grace, be a lady, but I'm still built for tough. Okay. Nothing at this
A
point.
lady.
Nothing at this point. I feel like
Yeah.
I've life has different chapters, different journeys. I'm sure down the line, it could possibly be another obstacle, another challenge,
there
but
definitely will be.
like I said, I'm at this point, I'm like the comeback kid for real. Like, okay, what's next? I'm always ready for
What's the one?
what's next,
Yeah.
right? And I know that we're wrapping up on time. We didn't we kind of touched on the second ACL, but the only thing I'm going to say about that one is like I retired like an OG for real. And it's funny because the back of my jersey said OGZ, because there was another girl in the league who her back of her jersey said Z too. I was like, nah, I'm Z, And but pick six, I literally tore my second ACL.
It's on YouTube.
It is on YouTube.
It was. We got receipts.
Yeah, pick six. I have a still shot of me like literally the ball is over the end zone, and you see the girl falling. You see my leg going all different directions, and but you see me with the ball
With
over
the
in the
ball.
end zone. So I was okay with going out like that. I was like,
Yeah.
if anybody is to retire this way, I'm glad it was me. I can peacefully walk away and say,
Yeah.
I had a good run. I had a good run at this.
Yeah.
It's time to put
Me
the
too.
football, hang up the cleats,
Hang up the cleats.
and move on. But the second one was definitely pretty painful too, because my MCL was damaged in
Okay,
that one,
yeah.
which is like the inside.
And you still
it was
haven't
sprained.
Had this surgery.
And I
too.
decided to not
Yeah.
have surgery on that second one
Yeah.
yet, at least, because it was just too close. It was only like a year and a half, if that. So I was like,
Yeah.
I can't go through that again. So I don't know. We'll see. Maybe they'll have some advancements soon on,
Hopefully.
like that the surgery is not so invasive, because it's like they
Yeah.
really have to get in there. They take tissue,
Remove
from
it.
places and
Yeah.
put it like, I'm just like, yeah, no, can't do that again.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Send us a message if
yeah,
you
if there's
heard
some
of
new,
any
some new developments on
innovation
ACL
happening.
repair,
Well, hopefully, because with
stem cell research, I don't know.
Something.
Yeah, because
Just-
no
Yeah,
thanks. Especially
like-
not now at this big age. No thanks.
yeah, I would think it would be something.
Yeah. Well, that
Torn Achilles and
it's happening like left and right. But
something's gotta be.
you can, mentally, once you put your mind to it,
Yeah.
you can definitely get through it for sure. That sounded kind of cliche, but it's it starts there.
Well, you're a living testimony.
Yeah, 2 times, not once.
Of what that could be.
Yeah.
And then we started hearing stories about like multiple torn.
Yeah, most people that tear one typically tear the other.
Yeah.
But what I'm really afraid of, and I've been sharing this all weekend, is that Achilles. That's why I'm like, nope, I'm all set. That one for some reason scares me a little bit more than the ACL.
Why do you keep thinking about, like, just because you're walking down the street, you're gonna tear it?
I don't know, because I've torn 2. I'm just like,
stop speaking that.
I don't speak it. I'm just saying, like, I don't even that. You're right.
Yeah.
Never mind.
Yeah. Because
Never
I'm like,
mind.
well, are you gonna play a game or
No.
a
You never
reunion
know.
game?
No.
Well, because then when we would go to the games and things would happen, you literally would like take off running to go onto and everyone's looking around like, see, like
I know.
you don't even have an ACL.
Right.
Like,
You
where
can
are you?
still run.
You would take off running, and I'm like, oh God, please don't let anybody give her any ideas that she could
that I can play
possibly
again.
come
No,
back.
I'm good. I'm all set. I swear,
Yeah.
I'm done.
Because your dad would say, women's don't be playing football anyway.
Grandpa, your dad.
Yeah, Grandpa would say.
Yeah, he didn't understand.
Women's, what is she doing? Women's don't play football anyway.
Yes,
That's
they do.
and then when you did it
And we're
again,
good at it,
when
too,
you did it
okay?
again, you're very good. I was like, how am I gonna tell him this when you did it the second time? And he was just like, so those are the 3 things where I can say that he, if he never showed his love,
Yeah.
shout out to the fathers who
Yeah.
show love.
Yeah.
I had only seen my dad cry once, and that was because of my mom's Nana's passing. Well, in a conversation about her life, and we were shoveling snow. I think I might have shared it with you, but those 3 moments definitely
Saw him get a little soft.
shook him up, and he expressed that, which
Yeah.
is,
Yeah, he definitely. I could
why
feel
I
him.
knew. Yeah.
I could feel him. Him and I had a very unique relationship as far as like he didn't have to say much to me, but I could feel him for sure. So and that stands. It still feels that way.
Yeah.
Still feels that way. So, but that was definitely a tough conversation to have, but we got through it.
We definitely got
and I'm sure there's some things we didn't touch on, but as conversations grow and topics come about, I'm sure we'll dive into some more things just to again help other people and
Absolutely.
talking about raising resilient daughters. And you shared some I don't want to say tips, but some of the things that you've done through this process to help me and to support me through these journeys of adversity and these experiences that weren't all that great, but they didn't happen to me. They happened for
moments.
me. Yeah. And
Always there to teach.
always and support. And I appreciate you for that. So that means a lot, and it keeps your girl going. You like you said, my support system is amazing, and I can't be any more thankful for that. So
But I know of some prior times that we've talked, I don't like to say episode, it sounds weird, but the times that we've been able to talk and share, it always brings me back to the village of who you are inside. So when I think about Big Mama, when I think about Nana, when I think about like the mental toughness of those women, that if there's any kind of DNA makeup that we have talked about is like knowing who you are because of that. That's what I never would have wanted either me to somehow show you that that's not what's there, or if that is somehow spilled over, even your Nana, like just the women, that DNA
right
is solid. Like we're built from that.
For real. And before we finish up, I would just say too, these days we're living in, a time where like, resiliency, mental toughness is somewhat like, we're kind of moving away from it.
Yeah.
But I do think you have provided me a good balance where you've allowed me to work through those mistakes, but I still just know you're always there to support me and kind of be the voice of reason. Like, okay, Ziana, this probably wasn't right, but we're going to get through it, or have grace for these people. God only sees you and your heart, your forgiveness. It's definitely been a good balance of both, which I think is important.
It is,
because we have to kind of somewhat, we're talking about getting back to certain things, right? And I think that's something that's important, is somewhat teaching a level of mental toughness, but also grace, and allowing yourself the time, in the moments that are necessary, to be still, like we talked about. And I think that you've always reminded me of that. Like, Ziana, it's been a lot going on. I think you need to sit down. I think, you're not 20 anymore.
Right.
I think it's time that you look at these other things, and that has also been helpful. And I hope that that's a helpful tip for mothers and daughters. Absolutely. That's what we're here for, right? To just kind of add that balance. Let's get back to that, because you always do too remind me, I'm still your mother. Like, you do say that when I will get a little like, I got this. Like, I'm still your mother, and I still have the right to be concerned about you. I don't care how old you are.
Yes.
You always remind me of that. So I appreciate that.
We'll remind you.
Yes. All right. So let's wrap it up. Let's take a few minutes.
Time already?
Yes. I know we talk so fast, but it's been an hour. But let's really quickly give our flowers, and then play of the week. So let's try to do that like in a minute or so. I'll go first. I'll do both. I think this conversation is reminding me I want to give my flowers to my cousin Jasmine. I want to give my flowers to her because throughout every one of those processes, she's always we've been together since we were babies, and we're apart now. It's a little different for us, and I know we're adjusting to it. But when you talk about to have somebody that's just always in your corner, right, wrong, and different, and it's not just her. I have others, but I don't want to couple them all together. I want to honor everybody by who they are and what they mean to me. So I want to give her my flowers today. She's one of the hardest working women I know since we were kids, from being a lifeguard to, bartending, whatever she had to do. Whatever she was always on her grind, and just always taking care of herself, and stands in her morals and her characters and who she is. She doesn't fold for anybody. And I appreciate that so much about her, and for just being there for me through those traumatic times. More so definitely the accident, to have somebody that can properly patch you up, bandage you, and to wash my behind, literally, to have somebody Nurse that Jazz. You can trust like that is truly a blessing. Such and a blessing.
And she was right down the street.
Yes, absolutely.
That was
so. I'm gonna give give my flowers to her today.
Oh, that's so sweet.
And my play of the week is to drop our first episode. It's gotta happen. So y'all gonna get this. It'll probably like a month or so. Y'all will hear this one, but to really like what we've been building and cultivating here is to just drop it and make it happen. And then I do have another play. Is I have mail that I need to go through. I need, it's ridiculous at this point. So hold me accountable, because I have to get through this mail.
Do you have a shredder?
I don't have a shredder, but I have to get through that mail. So that's my second play of the week. So
getting through the mail.
It's your turn.
Flowers. Wow. My flowers this week are going to go to I don't really want to say names until
that's fine.
but a group of ladies that has come into my life in this journey, this side of the journey, and they have shown up in a way that has just been blessing.
That you've been praying for.
Just
Putting in the
answers
universe.
to prayers that could only be some stuff going on behind the scenes, up the stairs, down, just all the wherever God is, everywhere. He's everywhere. But they have shown up in some very amazing ways, and it's about 3 of them.
Okay.
And so they each get a flower. And I know one of them, we talked about definitely bringing her on.
Yes.
To have a conversation and discuss her book.
Yes.
And so I want to give flowers to the group.
Nice.
Of ladies. Okay. And the play of the week is this group of women. We're having our first conversation together about how we're going to expand. We're going to expand in this area, and we're going to have our first conversation with a group of us, small group, on this coming Saturday. So we got some plays that need to happen in order to bring that to a manifestation so that we can continue doing them monthly.
Yes.
And
that's exciting.
Patch up,
where
y'all.
She's patched. Everybody get patched.
Patched up.
We'll do
y'all.
a whole episode just about
it's important.
Conversation, I should say, about the patching, because again, we're touching on things, but we got to dive a little deeper.
Yeah,
so
we definitely
more
do.
to come.
Absolutely.
All right,
stay tuned.
Let's wrap it up. Bring it in. What are we gonna say?
Resilient. Yeah,
on 3.
I think on 3.
1, 2, 3.
Resilient. We did it. Whoop, 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 whoop.
Thank you for tuning into the Soul Different podcast, where we soul different and we are so different. We hope today's conversation sparked new ideas, inspiration, and a renewed commitment to building strong families and legacies. Remember, no obstacle is too big when we stand together. Let's keep pushing forward, cultivating our health, building our businesses, and most importantly, strengthening the foundation of family. If you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to subscribe, share, and join us next time as we continue to break barriers and elevate our culture. Until then, remember, you are worthy, stay strong, stay connected, and keep building for the future.